Some of you friends of mine always ask, what does your day-to-day look like, Ivan? Well, I'll give you a little breakdown of replacing a water heater that recently happened at one of my affordable housing multifamily properties. And maybe it could help you when you eventually acquire your own as to how to approach the situation. So number one, in retrospect, I would highly advise walking all of the plumbing lines first before you go on to replace a water heater, because in all the things I have going through my head, I totally forgot that there was actually two water heaters in this particular building. So when we replaced one, it turned out it did not fix the issue. So unfortunately, we had to go ahead and eliminate the other one, which was not that big of a deal. I mean, we're just kind of cutting one part of the equation off. But another aspect to that I would advise you on is to go after liquidators as opposed to a Home Depot per se to buy a water heater. In this case, since it was serving 5 units, I decided, instead of these little rinky-dink, half tall water heaters that are probably, I think the capacity was around 40 gallons for 2, I went ahead and just doubled up on one water heater that will serve all of them. And thereby, one tenant actually gets an extra closet back by not having an extra water heater there. And I just bought an 80 gallon. And why did I mention the liquidators though? It's because at Home Depot, it would cost close to $3,000 just for the water heater by itself. But if you go to a liquidator, you just put it in Google Maps, you could find a water heater liquidator that buys up these slightly dented or scratched water heaters. And from there, you could go ahead and just take it over to the place. You could get that delivered for like $100. That's what I did, at least. The actual cost of it itself was about $975. So already a 60% savings on the supply by itself. On the labor side, what we also did to save a little bit was actually ran those lines, which they already kind of were, through the attic. Instead of breaking every wall for every unit to run lines through the walls, we just ran it up and through the attic, covered up with some insulation to make sure it stays hot, even though an attic is already naturally hot because heat rises. We did that to save costs too. We also, for that other water heater I mentioned that we eliminated, we essentially cut those off, got that water heater out of there, and connected at the top of the attic. We connected the missing pieces per se. So that's my kind of view into day-to-day life for me, replacing a water heater, that little surprise expense. Perhaps you get something out of it. And of course, if you have any questions as you're going through or considering acquiring properties, especially for affordable housing use, please let me know. I'd be glad to help because we desperately need more and more units as fast as possible. Thanks and have a blessed day.